Welcome again, everyone, to Let's Talk About Sleep, your favorite channel and mine. The only channel on YouTube that's focused only on sleep. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm going to say it is. Here's the book, Let's Talk About Sleep. The Amazon link for that is in the description box down below. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. I will get to all of them. Once a month I do a video or two on that. These videos are for educational purposes only. And with that being said, let's get right into this. So the last video I made was on Restless Leg Syndrome. Okay, and just to kind of reiterate about that, that's a condition where people have uncomfortable sensation in their legs, usually in the calf area, and it prevents them from falling asleep. So what this video is on one of the blood parameters, or one of the blood work values that may contribute to that. So when somebody has low iron, okay, that can be from a variety of different reasons. All right. Usually we call it anemia, or it can result in anemia, which is a low value of hemoglobin or hematocrit in the blood. Okay, but for our purposes, when somebody has low iron, there's really a couple of different things that we're looking at. So one is something called the ferritin level. And that's really the most important when it comes to restless leg syndrome. Okay, because remember, restless leg syndrome, it can be genetic, it can be from pregnancy, it can be from medications, it can be from nerve damage. But in the kind of classic setting, restless legs can oftentimes be seen in young menstruating women. Why? Because during their periods there is blood loss, and that can lower the iron levels in the blood. So one of the ways we check that iron level is something called ferritin, Ferritin, which is a measure of iron stores in the blood. Now the normal range for ferritin, I'm gonna have to look it up, but it's somewhere around 15 to 20 up to like 300 and something. Okay, both men and women. And what can happen is if somebody comes to see me and they have restless leg syndrome, the first thing I'm going to check, blood work, is their ferritin level. Okay, and what can happen is their ferritin level can be, quote, normal, within that range I just mentioned. But if it's below 50 or even 75, what we typically will do is replace the iron. Okay, and there's over-the-counter iron supplements, or sometimes we give them an iron infusion. Okay, but the good thing about it is when you replace the iron, over time, the restless leg syndrome may reduce. Okay, those symptoms may get better. Okay, it usually takes a few months or so. But that can be super helpful in a case where somebody does have this condition, they don't want to take medications, or it's really affecting their life. Okay, so ferritin is a key part of this when somebody has restless leg syndrome. Now, what can be other reasons why somebody has low ferritin? So, as I said, young menstruating women, that's kind of the most common cause. If it's somebody who's a little bit older, like an older woman or a man who has low ferritin, then we start thinking about, all right, could this person have bleeding somewhere? Could they have like rectal bleeding somewhere that they're not aware of, or somewhere in the body there's bleeding? So that can also prompt further investigation. Other reasons why iron may be low: if somebody's diet, if they're vegetarian, they may not be eating meat enough, and that can lower the ferritin. Okay. But the point here is that the ferritin, like I said, is a measure of iron stores. Iron is used by the central nervous system to help make dopamine. You may have heard about dopamine before. Dopamine is we classically know it as the kind of the reward neurotransmitter, right? So if you go to Vegas or you gamble and you get a win, the dopamine spikes and you feel good, you feel excited. But dopamine in this case is used to help well, actually, I'm not even really sure how it does it, but when dopamine is low, restless leg syndrome can occur. And that's how we think low iron, results in low dopamine, and that's what brings on restless leg syndrome in somebody who is predisposed to it. Okay, so ferritin, we check when somebody has restless leg syndrome. If it's low, or even though if it's in the normal range, if it's below 50 or 75, we replace it to try to get that level higher, and over time, that can help with the symptoms. Okay, so our next video is going to be on the same path of restless leg syndrome, and we're going to talk about treatments. Okay, and by the way, when I talk about restless leg syndrome and ferritin and all these things, I'm also talking about that middle of the night kicking, which is called PLMs, or periodic leg movements of sleep. If you saw my last video, you'll know you know what I'm talking about. So that's the video for today. If you have questions or comments about ferritin, about iron, about blood work, about anemia, about restless leg syndrome, or anything sleep related, leave them in the comment section down below. I will get to all of them. Please subscribe to the channel as we get closer to 1,000. One person will get a signed copy of this at random. And please share this with your friends and family. And interact with each other, interact with me. That's what this channel is all about. So until next time, everybody, sleep well.